Salibonani. So I've got a project that I'm working on right now that needs me to create a microphone. And yeah, I've got a process in my mind, but I haven't really tried it out. So I'm just recording the process in case anyone wants to create a microphone that's procedural, because I want to be able to fix these grills here, like to control their thickness and how separate they are after I've created the grill. I don't want to have to keep I don't want to have to guess and then destroy the mesh, and then the next thing you know, I have to start the process from scratch. So I'm trying to create something a bit more procedural. I've got a process in my head, but I'm not too sure if it doesn't work out, I'll upload the video anyway. So if anyone has a better process, they can let me know. So I'll start by creating a plane, which is going to be one of my grills, grill strips, and then I'll make it thin, maybe let's say 1 centimeter. So it's 1 centimeter by 400 centimeters. Then we'll reduce the width segments to 1. Height segments, maybe we increase them to 100 or something crazy. Maybe 100 might even be too small. Let's just say 200. Right? So we've got some dividing segments here. And then we add, we make it thick. So I'd say we use a cloth surface here. And we remove the subdivision. And then we increase the thickness. So that's by 1 centimeter. So now we've got this strip here, which is going to act as our strip. And then because if you notice, these are kind of interwoven into each other, so it goes up and then down and then up and then down. So that's what we kind of want to achieve. Lucky enough, it's like there's this division here in the middle, so we'll be able to kind of hide a seam there. So if my plan works, that will be good. So yeah, from there we create, I'd say we need a deformer of some kind. So displacer should do. Put that under there. Let's put noise just to see if it works. Okay, awesome. But we don't want it to be shifting from side to side, so we'll put it towards the y-axis. So say planar, and then y. Okay, I think that's fine. But obviously we need it to be a nice and consistent pattern instead of a noise. So we're gonna use a gradient, and then why is it tilting to the side? Okay, wait, I think I need to change the orientation of the gradient to vertical. There we go. So now we've got this nice little arc or arch, depending on where you live. We've got this arc here that goes like, it's a nice little curve that follows our gradient. So instead of having like multiple patterns like black, white, black, white, black, white going up like that, we're just gonna tile it. So we'll leave it as it is. And then maybe we'll need to tile it. We'll need to do this. Put white here in the middle. Let's make it white, white. And then black here in the end. So we have this arc type pattern, and that's what'll basically go throughout the strip. So yeah, and then where can I tile this? I think we go back to the shader. There we go. Right, and then we basically go to the object. Okay, we've already set it to Y. And then on the shading, we can offset it. We should be able to offset it. There we go. But we don't want to offset it. What we want to do is reduce the length like that. And that's the effect that we want in order to create that kind of pattern. but obviously this is very extreme. I'm not sure if the cloth shader is doing a great way to thicken it, but I couldn't think of another procedural way to thicken geometry without, you know, making it editable and then basically destroying the procedural nature of it. So what I'll do is that I'll reduce it even more so that it's something like that. The nice thing about this technique is that we can come back to this and basically have it, you know, just change one feature and change everything else. I think we'll need to reduce the height, of course, because it's too much. I think something like that should do. 1 would be too tight, I think, to try and interwove it like that. It would work, but I think it might be too tight. Maybe let's meet halfway. So 1.5, it's a good height. Obviously, these are not solid figures. Whatever you feel like works for your model or the size of your plane, you know. So don't put 1.5, and if you're not too sure, it will work. So alright, so now that we've got this pattern, this seems to be working. I didn't think it was gonna be this good. I'm sure if I add a subdiv here on top of the cloth, it'll become, there we go. But I think we can afford to wait, even though I'm impatient. So I'd say we've got a very nice procedural strip at this point. I'm sure it could have just been a cube with like a lot of subdivisions. That probably would have worked. I don't know why I used a plane, but okay. I guess that's how it ended up, because I'm sure it could have just been a cube, a very long cube with subdivisions. That probably would be even more stable, but we'll see. We'll see if this works. And then what do we need to do now? So we'll just name this so that we don't get confused. So we'll just call it strip. Now we want to clone that, but in order to do that, let's use MoGraph, and we use a cloner. Then we put that at what? We say 0 there, and then we move that about 10 centimeters apart. Well, we can just say, all right, we've got these at 1 centimeter in terms of the square. Yeah, so I think 10 centimeters even aligns with the grid and stuff, so it should look all right. And also the distance between this grill and that grill probably need to be somewhat uniform if I want it to be nice. So I'm just gonna go back to my strip. So that's the advantage of having something procedural. Then we'll increase the length. So maybe instead of having it at 5, we can bring it up. Yeah, we can bring it up to 5. So now that kind of aligns right on the line of the grid, and that'll make it easier to match it up when we now try and make it interwove within itself. I'm not too sure if I should leave it at with a separation of 10, or if I should make it 20, so that we have basically each arc is like a perfect 2 squares, and then the distance between them there and there is a perfect 2 squares. But we can adjust any of those features later on anyway. So what we'll do here is that we'll increase these, so maybe have 10. Well, the distance between there, the distance of our map is 200, so let's have 20. And we get a perfect square, I think. Or should it be 21 for it to be a perfect square? I think it should be 21. some reason that I'm not bothered to calculate. Let's just make sure. Yep, 21. So now we've got a little bit of a grid, and it's pretty quick as well. So I'm sure we could reduce some of the segments just to make it even lower resolution. Let's try 100 and see if that works. Yeah, that's still alright, because we could probably subdivide this eventually. And then we just increase the height, displacement height, back to 2. That's fine. And then now that we've got our nice cloned shape here, we can then make an instance of that. Once we make an instance of that, it'll make it easier for us to basically rotate this. But I think let's try and see if we can move the source. I don't think we can. I wanted to move the origin point for this so that it's in the middle. Maybe if I just group it. And then we move this to the middle. Right. So what we want to do here is, when snapping, we want to disable the vertex snap, we want to disable the spline snap, we want a grid point snap, so we snap right there, and we're in the middle. So now we won't have a problem rotating our geometry. So we then name that grid strip. Then that's when we can create an instance of that. So because the origin point is in the middle, when we're rotating, I'm not sure which one it is. Is it that one? Yep. We just rotate it, and that's it. We've got a nice little tiled mesh there. And then we just, since we're snapped to the middle, we can just move that, and it should snap to that point in the grid. And we've got an interwoven mesh. Is it interwoven? Doesn't look interwoven. Alright, I think I don't have this correct. I think I need to also move it up. So we snap it to the grid point there, and then... Ah, right, I see. So, what's supposed to happen here is that we're gonna duplicate the existing instance. So holding down Control and dragging. I don't know why I didn't duplicate that. Alright, Control CV, the old school way, and we go back there. But instead of so now we've got like 2 instances. This is going to get confusing really quick. But now we've got 2 instances, right? I'll hide this one, the original one, and I'll also hide the second one so you can see. So we take the second one and we flip it 180 now, right? And that'll go down and up like this, and you'll see that there's really no interlocking that's happening, because it's like it's just constantly going under. So we duplicate this one again, right? We duplicate this instance again, but this time we rotate it this way, right, to mimic the original strip. So we turn its rotation back to 0, and then we move it to the next grid point. And now we've got perfect interlocking. As you can see, it's going under the strip and then over and then under and then over. So the way we'd done it originally was alright. I think maybe I should move it the other way, because I'm seeing that we've gone too much. So this first instance, I need to move it the other way. so that it doesn't stray too far away from. Yeah, I think that should be fine. I think if we try to move this one as well, it'll also leak on the other side. So yeah, I think this is the best we can do. But in terms of this side, this one, I think we can move it down this way so that we just have one that's leaking out. Snaps to the grid, and we've got a nice little mesh, which is only controlled by one plane. I'm very happy. Alright, so now that we've got this, the challenge is making it spherical, and in theory I'm hoping that Spherize will just make this happen instantly. So I hope that happens. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna use the connect feature. I hope that'll work as well. So we just come here and we say connect, right? We move connect right to the middle of our grid, and then we just move it to the center of, oh no, not yet. We put all of this stuff inside the connect, and then we move that to the center of the map, just so that we don't have any of those issues. It's starting to get heavy. I don't know why, because it's very low resolution. Probably if I make it into one model, it's gonna be just fine. But we've got so much control over the map. I think it's worth it. Once we decide to then convert it into a mesh, we'll have gotten the ideal result. So I don't mind the current heaviness. And then we take our we try and use Spherize and see if that works. Spherify is what it is. Even wrap could do a good job as well. Let's try wrap. Alright. Okay, wrap seems to be promising. Now we just say spherical. It's also facing the wrong direction. Sure. I'll need to rotate it. You should see the smile on my face right now. This is promising. The mesh is still thick, so that's good. But I'm worried about the edges now. We'll see how that goes. Let's see, so we can do this. Yes. Let's remove the snapping now. Okay, we've got a couple of artifacts here that I think we can get away. We don't really, we're gonna have this grill here, so we can just hide some of that. But I'm happy that the interwoven is working out superb. It's really working out superb. Okay, so now that we've got that top half, we can go back to the beginning of our procedural mesh, and we just thicken stuff up because right now it's pretty thin. So now we can just say, we can just get in a bit tight, a bit closer, and then we can say width should be 2 or should be 3 or maybe 4. Yeah, 4. And then we come to the thickness of our mesh, oh no, not subdivisions, before we crash it. Thickness 2, 3, 4, and obviously you're now starting to see those types of issues, like the interlocking. So we can still go back to a displacement, increase the height, and that should do a good job. Obviously we're going to put a subdivision mesh on top of this to prevent it looking boxy like that, but I like to think this is pretty close, man. I mean, it's not perfect, it's like grid locked. I think if I had made it more of a diamond shape, the grid, that would have been even better. I think we get away with this for this mock-up. So let's put a subdiv in there. So maybe if we throw it right after the strip, yeah, let's see what happens. There you go. Reduce that to 1. I think that's alright. Come on now. It's interlocking quite alright as well. Some bits it's going. Okay, so I think I do need to move some, because in some parts it's interlocking okay, but then there's some parts where it's kind of bit of a mess. So what we'll do is that we'll disable the wrap, disable the connect, and then find out and disable the subdiv as well. Damn it, the thickness is gonna confuse me now. So there's one that's not, I think it's this one. So we need to kind of move that one up a little bit. It's not doing a good job. It's too tight. So I think that's the one that we rotated manually. So we just move that one up. And I think at this point we no longer have any bits of the mesh that is going through. Okay, this still is a bit of a mess, but it's not too bad, so we just move it down a little bit. I think we moved it up too much. And that should be fine. Mesh achieved. Then we go back and enable the connect, enable the wrap. I'm not too sure if we need the connect. Let me see, because it might be causing things to slow down a bit more than they should. Yeah, we don't need the connect. We don't need the connect, and that is fine. It's actually better without the connect in terms of speed. Let me see. So if we wanted to make it even tighter, of course I'd say this is alright in terms of spacing. Might be a bit too spaced, but yeah, I'd say it's fine. I mean, for a mock-up, it should be alright. Then now we create a sphere, which we'll use as the inside. We drop it down. And then we reduce the radius a little bit. And I think that's alright. Then we make another instance of this, just in case we want to edit it, so that we keep the possibility of editing there. And we just flip that. Oh upside down, and then we bring that all the way to the bottom. Well, I'm not going to record the rest of this process. If you want to find out about the whole procedural grill part, I mean, the alembic, saving things as alembic and importing them back and all that stuff, you're going to have to, do the research. So as you can see, the model itself is quite alright, but once you make it into one single mesh, I mean, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll leave it here. I won't put a picture of the complete microphone. I might, I don't know, we'll see. Cheers guys, hope you learned a little bit from this mess of a walkthrough. I just thought I'd decide something that I'd upload something that's pretty organic, where it's actually it's me figuring out, you seeing how I troubleshoot these situations. So that's what it is. Cheers. Please subscribe if you found this helpful. Hopefully I'll be uploading more content with my workflows and we can troubleshoot stuff together. If you come up with a better method of making it look more like the mic's mesh, that would be nice as well. But for now, I think I'll just settle with this. Alright. Cheers guys. Subscribe, ring the bell, and catch you next time.